operating procedure SOP for supply chain. As have been said that we have a supply chain to the health facility, but from the health facility to the community, there is no SOP. So in our subcommittee, we have seen that there is the importance of having these activities to develop SOP for supply chain. It costs, as it is stated here, and so we need, and it will be, it will take 1 year. It will take a year, and the support we need is technical and financial assistance. Those who will support us will be government, development partners such as DPG Health and IPs. This is the second sub-activities in the first priority. But in our subcommittee also, we've discussed that we should have an orientation of SOP for supply chain of commodities. So it will be this will be implemented in a year or a year, and those who support in the support, let me check. We need support. We need is technical and the financial assistance from the government, DPG heads, and the implementing partners. So in our subcommittee, to our first priority, we have discussed there should be 3 activities as it have been explained, but we've added another activities, which is we've added another activities. This activity is to procurement of minimum essential working tools and the supply for CHW. As we know that CHW in this new integrated and coordinated program, CHW will provide the basic relative services. So there was a need of procure essential working tools and the supply to CHW. These working tools will be supplying for 28 CHW. According to our circular, we have said that in the first phase, we'll be having 28 CHW. So in our discussion, we should put those numbers which have been stated in our circular. So working tools that will be provided to CHW, the first one is a sleeves vest with reflector. It costs. And also we have watch, solar torch, rain boot, an umbrella, rain coat, muac tape, tablets or smartphone, bicycle, portable weighing scale for children and adults, job weight, manual, visual instruction and the SBC materials, but bar or liquid soap, thermometer, exercise book, and a pen. Also, there will be a simple PPE, gloves, and a mask. Also, there will be an addition of PPE during the outbreak will be provided to CHW, but we have not considered it. But also, there will be a referral forms that will be used by CHW. Also, CHW will be provided the backpack waterproof for carrying the supplies. Also, there will be a first aid kit, and the last working tools, it will be disposable bags for sharps and the contaminated plastics for CHW. So here, this working tools will be procured for a year to CHW, to 28 CHW. And the support that we need from this is the financial assistance. Those who will provide this financial assistance is the government, DPG Health, and the IPs. So in short, for the subcommittee of supply chain, it cost, let me check the total cost of two priority and its sub-activities. It cost 27 billions Tanzania shillings. So on the behalf of subcommittee of supply chain, asanteni kwa kusikiliza. Maybe our member, if there anyone who have more or have addition or any contribution, you are welcome from our subcommittee of supply chain. You are welcome. Any addition from my, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Bahati, for this sharing from what we discussed. Just to add more on the where did we get up these key issues. If you go back to the first activities that Bahati have mentioned, we try to go beyond and looking for issues like the items which are required for CHWs are more on the objective number 2, but the first one is basing on laying the foundation for what is going to be done, because we need to have SOP, guidelines, policies to make sure that it integrate with those which are worked under other groups. If you see in our groups, we mentioned that we didn't mention the MNE. There are ICT issues. There are other issues that are related with CHW on working tools, the data collection. So it is linked with the other technical area that are working in other groups. So we expect to see that we mentioned here that, for instance, the flip chart, that one need to be developed, because what we have now is a okay. Oh, and actually money is the best priority for everyone. So maybe yeah, rudi kwenye iende nenda juu, nenda juu sasa. No, nenda tu juu, nenda tu pandisha, pandisha huku juu kabisa, shusha hivi, nenda tupagelea kwanza. Yeah, so I'm referring to this first priority area. Yeah. The review current supply chain policy guideline to accommodate the shift. That means we have to have guideline policies that are covenant with the current situation. But at the same time, if you go to the development of SOPs, it aims to include issues of ICT, the tools, for instance, the tablets, the ICT, which is going to collect data for CHWs. We try to link with other technical areas. So we expect MNE will have the ways how to be integrated in the tablet for a CHW to manage to collect data where at the facility, at the community level, at the household level. So those one are integrated. Also, we worked with the other group which refer to I mentioned the flip chart. That one need to be harmonized. So we expect another group. I think the group for Dr. May we did some consultative discussion that it needs to be revised, because what we have now is developed different aspects, and it meets some of the issues that are integrated in the integrated and the coordinated CHW guideline. So there are some areas that need to be also synchronized with what the commodities and tools section work on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. You are not done yet, so just stay. Yes. Any comments from the floor? Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I congratulate the group for work well done, well thought out. I'm just concerned. I think I saw, if I'm correct, I saw something about supplies for outbreaks. Normally, those are costed in so many of our unfortunately, I'm the Deputy Director for Preventive Service, so I know everybody who costs stuff. Normally, those are costed elsewhere, either under EOC or under National Action Plan for Health Security or elsewhere. So if we are costing it here, remember these supplies can be, can expire. And we know, yes, we are preparing, but I believe those are costed somewhere else. They can be costed somewhere else, especially now that we have the community health workers. Then we just need to inform our other divisions that there is this. So when you are forecasting for these things, you need to forecast this number as well.
You agree?
Positively, thank you, Doctor, for that input. We even put this one, I'm lost. Okay. We even put this one in simple PPE, gloves and mask, additional PPE may be. We put it in that context because it may be provided during outbreaks, but it is within our thinking, but we saw that maybe because of the integration, like what you said, it might be in the other section or in the other department. So we put this one, and it's just a highlight. Actually, we added even this description that it may be because we are conscious. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Rose.
Thank you for a very good presentation and well thought out work. My first question is on the guidelines. Whether the group was discussing reviewing the supply chain guidelines, as Bahati said, holistically, all of them, and including the community parts, or if you're looking at the community health guidelines that we've just done and trying to see whether you will add a component, you will strengthen the component of supply chain there. That's one question. The other question, or maybe suggestion, is on your procurement for the bags. If you notice, the template has 2.5 years, also has 5 years. So while you costed only for 28,000, you might have considered also factoring in the additional CHWs who we hope to have in place within 5 years. Thank you.
Very true, and thank you for that thinking. We also have that idea, and we even went to think that we know all 28,000 CHW which are target for the government might be, we are not sure, and it's obvious known that we may have some of them that might be dropouts due to various reasons, death and other factors, maybe change of focus from that career of CHW to other. So we think of having some replacement, and we like that idea, and I will think of it. But integrating of the community health guideline, it is really important. That's why we said we start with the review, what is available, what is missing, then finalization, and then validation, and then the dissemination, because it involves all multiple stakeholders to make sure that we came with the comprehensive one, which is relevant to the current situation. Thank you.
Thank you, the group, for the good work. Mine is just like an addition or maybe clarification. I heard about the tablets for mainly for reporting or for data collection. So I was wondering if we can also have something like an app or a system, because the SBC or RCC, we are also interested on the tablets. We need to go digital, and we need to disseminate our material to CHW through their tablets. So we have already some studies in Tanzania which have concurred with that idea in Iringa and I think Pwani. So maybe because the ICT people are here, might help us to see whether we can disseminate material maybe through call center to get to reach all the CHW with tablets, so that we, in the long run, we might run from the print and go digital. That is one. The second one, Madam has clarified, I was wondering, can we also add megaphone to the supplies? Because the CHW normally when implementing, particularly in RCC, be it preparedness or response, at some point they need to use the megaphone. Even in other SBC in normal situation, if they go to the event-based and things like that one, they might need some megaphone. So I was thinking if they can have one, because sometimes you get in trouble hiring PA system and the like, but we can have them, each CHW have one megaphone for their routine job. Otherwise, thank you for the nice presentation.
Yes, an addition. There is an addition.
Thank you very much, group. Mine just as a kind of addition. One is on should we really continue putting there maybe bar soap and liquid soap? For me, I would opt to go with the liquid soap because bar soap has a number of consequences, as we know, in terms of, and necessarily when you have like outbreaks of disease or in terms of controlling or doing issues of hygiene. Or for the context of our locality, maybe we can opt the powder soap so that they can mix with water and put in some bottles. It's even easier to handle, different from the bar soap. But another thing I was just asking myself, maybe if it's an oversight to myself, did we manage to put an issue of distribution and disseminating these supplies? Because having them is one thing, but ensuring that this material are available to the users is another thing, and it incurs cost. And this is always we forget to put into our plans, and it's become difficult to take them to the implementers. And another thing, the third one, is on ensuring safety and sustaining these materials. They incur a lot of expenses, a lot of money. What is the accountability mechanism maybe the group has suggested so that we can ensure that this material remains safe to the people who use them, these community health workers, but also they continue to be actually we are sure that they are safe where they are used, because you may buy those digital thermometer and everything, and after 2 or 3 days, those material you are said they have been stolen, they have been misplaced, and you don't find them, and again you go back again to square one to start purchasing the new sets. So if there is any mechanism, maybe because we understand there are local structure there are Hamlet executive officers, they can assist us to ensure safety and accountability to those supplies which will be handled to community health workers. As I thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe I can respond to that.
Thank you, the supply chain, for such a wonderful presentation. I just want to add a point on where Mr. Simon has just said, and I'm thinking that perhaps you should also consider on the refill mechanism. For example, if we propose to supply products that get finished, then we have to consider the refill mechanism beyond the program period. And so saying, we are speaking about the sustainability because we want this project to be sustainable. So yeah, that is the point that I wanted to add on that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I started with my boss, my brother, Peter Mabwe. Thank you for the observation. Yes, it's true. I think at some point I was with you in somewhere in the same workshop like this, and you mentioned this one. So point taken, but it's through the concept of the members in this meeting, and it's one of the tools that is important for the CHW to reach out to different peoples while there are some area that the PA might be needed. So we just add it here, and accommodate it. And now we are looking for best price, best practice prices, and we are going to add this in this exercise. But also the use of application for ICT for SBC. I remember also we thought about it during our discussion, and the issue was for us we took it that one would be based to UCC, which is a responsible part for the tools and the applications. So, but also we think that one will be costed on that part for the ICT or UCC, who is a contractor or vendor for the applications, and including other applications which will be used in the tablets for collecting data. And there will be linkage between UCC and the MNE, who are responsible to review and develop tools which will be capturing data. But otherwise, we thank you, Mr. Mabwe, for this input. Mr. Manyanza, thank you for your input for distribution cost and dissemination cost. On our side, we considered the review, the distribution. Actually, we consider the dissemination. And to review the current supply chain policy and guideline, review the existing one, finalization, validation, and the dissemination. Those are the costs which are incurred in the almost 208 million for that component. But I really understand, and we agree with the group that there must be issues related to distribution. When you are talking of reaching Karagwe, CHW, and the items or these tools are purchased in Dodoma or in Dar es Salaam, there must be associated costs. So we may think of putting a certain percentage in terms of the procurement of way we are using the program, with that we can take a certain percent of the total cost of these items to be a distribution and transport and distribution cost. Thank you for that idea. The issue of liquid soap instead of bar soap, I think it is discussable. Our chair and moderator, you can think about it. In reality, I think what, if I get you clearly, you mean those one which we are using like when the pandemic of COVID, we have those small drops that someone can be hanging in the back, which is easier to sanitize to hands, and the other thing which the CHW will be using instead of using a bar soap, which is somehow inconvenient to carry out in the bucket or in the backpack. So we really appreciate such inputs, and it's subject to the discussion in this room. The accountability issue, yes. Really experience and practice on the working CHW now, which we are working different programs, those one has been the one of, I remember in one of the program I worked, we distributed more than 200 tablets, but after 6 months, we have a lot of RBs from policies. My phone was stolen, my phone was done something. So I think that's one mechanism. And in one of the areas, I think we are in Arusha, I think working on the integrated coordinated CHW. One of the issue was to how this CHW will be accountable for those tools which are going to be provided. So I think it can fall within the mandate of the supervisors of these CHWs, as you mentioned, the Hamlet leader, the VEO, and the WEO, but also I think it may involve the issue of the in charges, the health facilities in charge, where the CHW is also reporting in terms of technical way. So I think this one will be based on the, it can be best fit in the terms of admin and logistic for CHW, the responsibility and accountability of their role. Their job description should be clear, known that some of may be mentioning how they are accountable for safety and the functionality of the tools which they are receiving in the program. Madam, thank you for your idea about the field mechanism. We are talking of torch, we are talking of tablets, we are talking of other equipment which are frequently referred. We are talking of a weighing scale. And our calculation here, we use the the digital weighing scale, which is also require some associated with refilling of the battery and the other means of mechanism that require refilling. So we may also consider it. We'll try to consult you when we are revising this one based on the comments we are collecting to see the best way. I can opt for discussing with the group that we can also consider about the percentage. Normally, we think of it like when we are budgeting for project vehicles, we consider the operational cost might be varying depending on the number of years the vehicle is used. Thank you. Maybe my colleague, if you have something to add from the follow-up question. Okay.
Thank you. I was hiding behind the pillar. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for a great presentation of your priorities and some of the interventions that you've thought through. What I'm hearing a lot from others, just in the comments and also the responses, is that there's a real need to track the assets that will be required. I know there was mention of some sort of inventory management, but I think we need to go beyond to the actual equipment, the bicycles, the tablets, the phones, and just wanted to give some consideration to defining what would be some of the replacement cycles for these materials. Often when we meet community health workers in the field, they'll show us what's been broken and what hasn't managed over time and wear and tear. And I think there's some interesting opportunities, and maybe there's more that I'm not aware of, which speak towards the digital tools that are under development, and whether we can build on those platforms, whether it's going to be the community health worker master list and registry, or some of the other tools you have in the digital space. But how can we track these? How can we track these assets? Perhaps we can even include somehow to signal their loss or their need to repair, again, to signal when they need to be replaced, or any kind of preventative maintenance. And I did also note that you're giving consideration to the SOP on some of the phones and the tablets, which is excellent, but perhaps somehow we can track that a bit more regularly. I know sometimes too, if they're using digital apps on their phones, the phone technology is evolving so quickly that sometimes it's no longer able to do on an older model, for example. So that kind of thing that is just part of our day to day, but we should keep in mind in terms of making these assets go the distance. So I think that's interesting to keep that in mind going forward. And maybe this is already happening in the Tanzania context, but I know for many countries who are procuring bicycles, they're now associating them with repair workshops in the communities, because we often hear about the breakdown. And so a lot of the contract and the procurement comes with repair, setting up a workshop in those communities to have access to parts and repairs as needed. So just some thoughts for your consideration.
Thank you so much. I just want to add a little bit on what the previous speaker said, but also to cement on what the presenter was saying regarding to our bag. I think that's our bag, okay? Because all the items is what making, the quality of the bag that these people will be working on. And in order to make this bag really sustainable, and based on the experience, as you have said, I know you give them the tablet and the phone, the next day you will have the police report. But, they need to sign a contract that if you have one of the items missing, then your monthly stipend will be deducted in order, to compensate. And I think this should be done either under the support of the waheshimiwa wakurugenzi wa halmashauri, because at the end of the day, the CHW will be responsible at the council level. I guess by so doing, they'll be responsible and taking a good care of our bag. Just wanted to add. Thank you.
I just wanted to To add on what Machako had just said, they are enablers, and we've seen this in Zanzibar, where we have given them the phones and the tablets and the so forth. So they are enablers for them to take care of the stuff which they are given. One is the contract. We make them sign a contract, and in that contract there is a clause which says you lose your phone, you have no job. So basically they know that that's the tool for their trade. And there are some who even actually go and repair it themselves. But the other thing is there's an insurance, like there's some little money which is deducted from their monthly stipend as an insurance for that particular device. And this is kept, this money is kept. Once they finish, I think it's 2 years now, and the phone is still there, because we believe after 2 years the phone has to be replaced anyway. So we return the money to them for those who have that device. So that's really makes them look after that device. The other one, they know they are contracted, they are going to get their monthly allowance. That makes them work. That is an enabling factor to them. The other one, as I said, if you don't have the device, you don't have a job, because you have to, this is where you'll be reporting. So that, but we should also understand that there are genuine cases. Watu wanaibiwa, people are mugged, people are, so there are those genuine cases, and it can be a case by case scenario where we evaluate and say kweli huyu kaibiwa, and kweli huyu mwingine katuletea usanii, anataka kutupiga changala macho. Kwa hiyo we do that always. So that's our experience, and we have seen very good retention of the devices. Of course, wengine wanazihandle badly, they are scratched, they are what, but we have seen very good retention. But you also need extensive sijui mafundi, kwa sababu they always come, hiki sijui hapo imefanyaje, imeruka, imenini. So we have those people who can give them that support. And kwa sisi, it is easy. The farthest you go is like 63 kilometers, leave alone the ones in the islands. But for you guys, you have to come up with maybe better strategies.
Thank you, DPS, for the elaboration, Piotr. But I was wondering, have you considered working with technology, DIT, there is some technology of Institute of Technology, because they can come up with innovation on how best you could track and maintain those equipment at a community level. So link with DIT, please.
Yeah. Thank you, my senior Mr. Machaku, for the inputs. Tracking of tools, sure. Signals, whatever. So I think point taken, and it's been insisted by the means to help the ways of tracking, and our DPS mentioned some of the enablers of which we all heard from her, but also the quality of bags, one of the mechanisms that will help her to manage it. And for Madam DPS, thank you for these inputs, because I can see all the three last contribution were mainly to build up on, to strengthen the component of tools and commodities. So we take it on board, and I think there are some of issues. This one, they are going to the contract. So this is more on contractual, while this is based on how the supervisors of CHW, Veil, Well, and the facility in charge are mostly things. So we need to take note, my colleagues, take note of this, and then we are going to see where some of this can go to other groups which are responsible. Anyone who is from the group? You have, yes.
Yes, thank you. To add, to contribute to what my colleagues has been saying on the issue of digitization, we thought about it, and then we reflected. We want to have a separate system or just one system. So we have taken all the contribution. What we will do, this contribute will go to the SOP in written document. So when the other members, especially the M&E at ICT, when they are coming up with the system, we ensure that our SOP is embedded into that system so that we have one system. The one that will help the CHW operate within the community in terms of delivering the services, but as well as helping him in terms of supply and supply chain management, in terms of ordering, in terms of wanting to new equipment, if there are materials, anything that we have provided to them, and then they need refill, they will use that system. So what we'll do, we'll just contribute to our SOP, and that if it will also be decided if other groups they've also other SOP, then we need to have just one document guideline, and this can be annexed to it so that we don't have many policy and document guidance as we have. We just need, as it's called, integrated and coordinated. So we are integrated. So all this will be in our written document, and then we'll sure to provide when the right team comes to fill in the information. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. I'm sure we have exhausted supply chains plan. If there are no further questions, we'll release them and then we move to the next. But the most important thing is that I am happy about the last speaker talking about the integration. So make sure all other issues related to supply chain from the other subgroups or subcommittees are brought to bear on your supply chain. I think this is very important. So the integration is very, very important. We don't want to have repetition of things in different subgroups. So which group is this? Okay, so finance is on the floor.
Hello, good afternoon. Maximilian Kwanku from the financing group, and thanks my group member for giving me this opportunity to present on your behalf. So we have 6 priorities, and within these 6 priorities, we have different activities.
For instance, on the first priorities, it's about the revise and cost the operational guideline for the community health and develop a comprehensive investment case. And here we have about 3 activities. And on the first part of revise the operational guideline, it's almost done. It's just waiting for the approval. And also on the issue of develop a comprehensive investment case, it's on progress, but there are some sort of support needed to complete this. And also in our group, we saw that on the first priority, we need almost 6 months to complete this. We need almost 6 months to complete this. And the partners who are involved, we tried to categorize as like the government, donors, and the other partners. And also we tried to add some notes regarding to this. For instance, on the revision, it's waiting for the approval, and also the funding is in place. So the cost, the operation guidance for community health is on progress under the Genesis Consulting. They are just waiting for technological problem. IT, can you support? So on the cost, the operational guidelines of rollout of the integrated community health workers program in Tanzania, the Genesis consultant are doing this work. They are just waiting for some data to complete this task. That is why we mentioned that funding are full covered, and also we try to mention the partners who are involved in this. And also on the part of investing, the Genesis consultant, they are still doing this. So on the second priorities, on to develop a CHW resource mobilization and sustainability strategy, this is full covered under the partners that I mentioned, the government, UNICEF, and the other partners. And this work is already funded and also is ongoing. So let's see the third priority, to develop advocacy tools to facilitate the integration of the CHW in the government payroll. This is also full funded. And also we mentioned the partners who are involved in this. And this, there should be on the coordination group. The financing and the coordination group, we are supposed to work close to complete these particular priorities. And also to conduct assessment and the documentation of financial model appropriate for sustainability of the community-based health services in Tanzania. And this also is on progress under the so-called Genesis consultant. And also on this, on the new revised CHW guideline, there are some good things highlighted, the issue of sustainability. Maybe let us wait for the approval of this document, because this document, it's clearly highlighted the different sustainability models as far as the CHW program is concerned. And also to conduct the fourth priorities, to conduct a budget impact analysis to understand the implication of funding CHW services using domestic resources on the government budget. And also these priorities, through the support of the UNICEF under the use of the Genesis expert, they are also on progress of making this priority to be done. And the resource mapping to clarify the partners of domestic and external and private investment, and this priority also is on progress. What is needed, there should be implemented working close with the human resources subcommittee. As we know, financing, it need to combine both groups. So on the resource mapping, we need all group to work closer with the financing group. Also on the priority about explore the funding mechanism to increase physical space for community health and enhance donor alignment with the contribution from the domestic, private, external sources. And this also this is not done. This is not done. I hope we can, this priority will done later. The last but not least, to increase enrollment into the existing health insurance schemes and use the cost recovery to allocate a proportion to fund the community health services. This work has not yet done, but we should work closer with the coordination desk so as to accomplish these priorities. Thank you for listening. Maybe we can take a comment and also contribution, because financing group is everywhere.
Yeah, all right. So thank you very much for the short presentation. Any comments? So you know how many activities you have? How many areas have you considered?
Okay. In this group, we have 6 priorities.
Okay.
And within these 6 priorities, we tried to identify some activities. For instance, on the first priorities, we have about 3 activities. So we have 6 priorities. Within that 6 priorities, there are some activities which are needed to be done.
Okay. So any comments?
Thank you for that presentation. And sorry we abandoned you today halfway through this exercise. But I think what was extremely valuable as we were working on this was that, one, we were able to clearly distinguish those activities that are ongoing, important for everyone to be aware of, and are funded, and then other activities which potentially could be funded with incoming resources and technical assistance support to the government, and then those areas that remained a gap. One important comment that came up in our group that I think may be important to think about in terms of linking with coordination and or other broader financing and prioritization processes is what tools are being used. And this often comes up in other areas as well. What tools are being used, and then what are ways to ensure that the information is being used in processes that are linked to prioritization within the broader context of health sector priorities. And I don't know if my colleague and group member wants to add anything more from GFF.
Members, do you want to add anything? Comments? Mwenyekiti.
Maybe the co-chair of this group, Mr. Dr. Peter Nyela. Because within these 6 priorities, the first, the second, and third priorities, they are done or they are just on progress, but we are not done with the resource mapping and the increased enrollment for health insurance. Maybe Dr. Peter Nyela, can you add something?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Max, for the nice presentation. Yeah, so I really don't have much to add, but just to mention that, so I think what is important is the ongoing costing that is being conducted by the Genesis Analytics, which is expected to give us different scenarios or options that we could think about in terms of financing the community health program. Because as we all understand, the 137,000 community health workers is a huge number. It's quite ambitious. And the resources needed to have all those community health workers deployed is quite significant. And therefore, while we that fully implemented, but also we are highly challenged in how we are able to finance that. And so to be realistic, we really need to look into our options and see which ones are really feasible in terms of financing the community health program. And I think that should be the essence of this meeting, really, because I think in terms of the technical aspects, there has been a lot of discussions around that in terms of how to, how this program should be technically be operationalized. And what is really need to be discussed now, I think it's the financing side of it, because you can have a very good plan and very good program, but if it's not finance, if you don't have money to operationalize that, then you're in trouble. So I think we really need to look into this and find out how are we going to be able to finance this program and to achieve the targets that we have put in place, the 137,000 community health workers that we want to deploy. Thank you.
Asante, Peter. There is no any hand. The chairperson.
Any more comments? Are we okay with finance? Okay, so let's okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I was still trying to think of sustaining, because yesterday I remember the words from Dr. Msemo, thinking on localizing the program, thinking on putting the program into a sustainable way. And I was still discussing to my head on how maybe the financing group can assist us on how to sustain the program according to our context. So maybe we can discuss as a group here and the technical, maybe advise to see how maybe we can put something in this area that can be taken forward so that it can trigger the discussion for having maybe local contribution to this program. Because going into this direction of maybe depending on partners or maybe contributors, at one point we can reach a freezing point where we can have no more maybe contribution to this bucket or to this program. How will it be sustained forward? Because as we have done the better in the facilities, we should now start thinking of how best we can do to the community so that these two parties can complement each other, and then we have a good status of faith to our people. So one of it, maybe I was still digging out more, maybe the issue of, as we are moving to the universal health insurance, can you have maybe part of it going directly to cover or to contribute to this community health service? That's what maybe we can discuss. If we have maybe different issues or separated or dedicated funds for certain service, can't we have maybe a special distribution or maybe a bucket set aside for just the community health service because it's a service that's going to the people? Or else maybe can we have maybe a sensitization or advocacy session to policymakers, to politicians and the decision makers to see how best maybe we can have a model to finance and improve contribution to this program. So see the area that maybe I was still in, but as I said, I should table them for discussion so that we can, if we see, if they can be feasible, we can put them into this group so that they can be taken forward. Other, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And I must say that so these discussions were being held when we were developing the operational guidelines. You know, it was quite extensive discussions, and for those who have been part of that discussion, really, it's going back to that discussion, and I think so I believe that that operational guideline it is here. Yeah, so that there was series of workshops to discuss and kind of find feasible ways that we could finance this program. We could sustainably finance this program, but also we said that is not enough. Let's find a consultant to look into that, and that's where Genesis Analytics came in to kind of look into the whole financing structure and say what are the potential options that we can have in place to have this program implemented. Financed sustainably. So it's something that has been discussed extensively and something that has been considered, including the universal health insurance, really, because we say that if community health workers will be involved in providing basic curative services to communities, and communities are kind of also being referred to the health facilities by the community health workers, in a way, then the community health workers are also providing services, and the costs for those services should be recovered. And if those costs are being recovered, then, and if the insurance is paying for the services, so that pay should also kind of contribute to sustaining the community health workers' work, to kind of also include the costs that are being incurred through the work of community health workers. So that discussion has been there, and that's why we said that when you consider universal health insurance and you think of working with the health facility staff, you shouldn't isolate the community health workers because they are part of that kind of continuum of care. And therefore, when you finance that through the universal health insurance, you have to also make sure that whatever service that is being provided by community health workers, there has to be a way to recover those costs, and therefore the insurance has to be able to also include those costs. I'm not sure if I've answered, but it's just to add to whatever discussion that might happen.
Asante.
Okay, thanks. Even me, I want to add more from what Dr. Nyera has said. It's true that through National Operation Guideline for Community-Based Service, we have been analyzed that 5% of 5% of health basket fund resource, universal health insurance revenue, and the cost sharing will be covered to operate on the issue of CHW. So I want to add on this. We have clear explained on the National Operation Guideline of 2024.
Are we okay with finance? Can they be discharged? Okay, I think you've heard some of the comments. I was going to decline.
Thank you very much for the clarification from my colleague Mwailafu and Peter Nyera. So maybe I understand, yes, we have that clause in the guideline. And the discussions that we had before in the previous sessions, yes, they were there. But maybe this one is we are preparing an acceleration plan that we should not forget. Maybe it should take us into an eye of sustaining the program. I don't know if that is my correct thinking. So if that is correct, that clue in that guideline, has it been accepted by decision makers? Has it been accepted by policy makers? If no, maybe we can add an activity into this group to advocate for that, so that we can have the breathing and the political buy-in, so that we can now operationalize that clue or that line in the guideline. Because if we write it there, operationalization of it is another thing. It can be accepted, it cannot be accepted. It's there in the guideline. But to implement it can be a problem if we have not yet advocated it enough and it has not been accepted by the policymakers and the decision makers. Others stand to be corrected. Thank you.
It was just a comment. Mwenyekiti.
Okay, so you are discharged.
Okay, thank you.
Service delivery. Please take the floor. We are done with finance. We are moving to service delivery. Is the co-chair? So what exactly? Because, okay. When did you join us? When did you join us? Did you join us from the beginning? No, I just want to be. I think from the first day we tried to explain what we mean by acceleration plan. Yeah, we acknowledge the fact that you have an existing roadmap and possibly an operational plan. But what we are doing, as we said, is to have whatever you are doing accelerated. Not so. So we are teasing out things that we can do within the shortest possible time. Because sometimes if you don't have such interventions, you wait and wait and wait, things will not work the way you want it to be. So that's why we are bringing everybody into this room, that we agree that this is how we want to accelerate the operational plan or the roadmap. Is that clear? So what we put in this document should be something, like we are saying, it should be smart, something that we can use, something that is clear, that is well defined, something that can attract a partner, the government, to say, look, I am going to support this thing. So just to draw your attention, as you put whatever in the tool, let it be more smart and realistic, so that within the shortest possible time, that is why we're giving the time frame, the timelines, less than 6 months, 1 year, so that if a partner is interested in supporting, or even the government, and like I said yesterday, our target is mostly the government. We want government commitment. Because sometimes program managers, if you don't have clear goals or clear plans, you find it difficult to get money. I've been in the system in the ministry, I've worked in the ministry as well, so I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes they will even ask to come and justify against something that you've already put there. So whatever we are putting here must be more justifiable, and it must bring some kind of agency that we need to do this, because this is a new program you want to roll out, integrated, coordinated kind of community health program, right? So you need something that can push it quickly, and this is what we are here to do. So whatever we put there, let's make sure that it is something that is actionable within the shortest time. At least something that will serve as the foundation for future investment, for more investment to come into the program. So that is it. So it is not, we are not running away from the operational plan. Whatever we are doing is in line with the plan, but we want to see a more actionable intervention going forward. That is it. I don't know if I'm clear again. Do I need to explain myself again? Please, are we on the same page? Are we okay with that? Yes. So maybe the other groups, if you are coming, make sure your interventions are very, very catchy. Yeah, I see. Yeah, we don't need to go to the nitty-gritties so much in this tool. Yes, we shouldn't go too much nitty-gritty. Some of them are processes. So those ones, as we roll out the intervention, you definitely go through the processes. So let's take note of that. Service delivery, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Epifania Minja from Deloitte. We implement Kizazi Hodari, USAID Kizazi Hodari Southern Zone project. And we are direct implementers. We are working with CHWs. And for that reason, presenting on behalf of the service delivery team. So for us, we had 6 priorities. But out of 6, we selected 2, which we noted as required to be implemented immediately within 1 year time between FY24 to FY25, which the first one is redefining the scope and operationalization of National Comprehensive Integrated Service Delivery Package at community level that include basic curative services. And the second one is strengthening linkage between community and facility level, including emergency referral systems. So here is the budget which we worked out. First, we will be working for this period. We are going to target a total of 28,000 community health workers, and we will engage 53 institutions in the mainland Tanzania. And here's the budget. We'll do the printing of the training curriculum and other training materials for the pre-service training institutions. By pre-service training, we mean those CHWs who were formerly working as volunteers who will qualify to become the CHW. So for this one, we are targeting to have 10 copies printed for each of the institutions. And that gives us a budget of 10.6 million. Then we'll have dissemination of the training materials. Um, Per institution, we are targeting to spend 3.2 million. The breakdown is with the team. And also we'll have portfolio learners record document, which costs 20,000 per copy. Then we'll have facilitators guide. Here we are also targeting 10 copies per institution, and the cost is 29,000 per copy, printed copy. Then we'll have practicum guide, which the CHWs will be given to use when going out to the field for the second phase of the training. Each one costs 20,000. Then we'll have also the English version for trainers of the practicum guide. We'll only have 10 copies per institution of the English version. Then we'll have the training management guide. This costs 15,000, and we'll also have 10 copies to each institution. And we'll also have the checklist for the trainers. We didn't include budget for this because we thought it may be, we need to check with the team if it is covered in the trainer's guide. Then another activity is the review of current CHW job weight to include basic curative services. And here we'll do the printing. No, sorry. This one is to be discussed. We may have a workshop for this. Then we'll print the job aid for the CHWs, and cost here is 30,000 per copy, a printed copy. And currently we have 9,492 CHWs who are on board. So these ones, their budget is currently ongoing. So they are covered in the first 6 months. Then with the remaining 18,508 are expected to be enrolled, onboarded from FY25 onwards. Then we'll develop and print learners training materials or learners aid pack, which cost 15,000 each, and this will be for each CHW. And we'll also have the portfolio or learner's record document, which costs 20,000 per each, and that makes a total of 3.294 billion Tanzanian shillings for that sub-activity, priority activity number 1. For priority number 2, which is strengthening linkage between community and facility level, including emergency referral systems, the first activity is adoption and customization of existing referral tools to fit with current integrated service package and standardized tools across the workshops. So this will include review and validation. This is a workshop, and the costs here include the conference package and per diem for participants. Yeah, like you see there. And then we will do the mentoring of CHW on effective referral system tools, package, use, and enlisting to referral linkage system. Here, All CHWs will be undergo the mentoring through expert supervisors, and each will be paid 10,000. Then we'll explore and assess feasibility of existing local solutions to emergency referral, transport for community health workers. And here we had an example of M-Mama application, if it can be expanded. So we will have the consultancy costs for this, and that is the total cost. Then we'll do the printing and distribution of referral system tools, including the CHW job words, which cost 15,000 each, and that gives us a total of 769,500,000 Tanzanian shillings. And for the first year, to implement this, we'll need 4,063,620,000. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the short presentation. Any comment, but my initial comment is whether or not your areas of priority are not different from that of HR in terms of the curriculum, the training, the materials, and all that. Maybe HR, when you come, will want to see whether your area is very different. Otherwise, I feel that training and development is HR function. So, yeah, so we will see where you can integrate the two areas when HR comes. But in any case, whatever we are doing now, if we see some resemblance of similarities with the outputs, we will need to merge them. Yeah, so it's good that we are doing the presentation so that we will see where each of the subcommittees integrate or cross each other, and then we can, the two of you, the two groups can meet and then merge it, and then we have one document instead of separate documents. Yeah.
Thank you for a very elaborate presentation. I was just wondering, you mentioned 53 institutions. Are these institutions going to be paid to train a CHW? Like, mtawalipa for them to train one CHW? For example, how much would you be compensating them? Maana hapo nimesikia tu materials mnawaprintia nini nini. Sasa sijaelewa mtawalipa, na kama mtawalipa, kwa nini tunawaprintia material wakati ile kosti ya kusema mimi institution A au institution 1 mtanilipa labda shilingi milioni 1 kwa kukutrainia CHW, and kama kozi zingine ndogo ndogo tunavyoenda ina include learning material, ina include labda accommodation, ina include nini. Kwa hiyo modalities can change. Unasema wewe una print alafu tunakulipa kidogo, au tunakulipa yote, utajijua mwenyewe utakavyo viprint. Kwa hiyo nitaka tu hiyo clarification. Asante.
Yeah, please, before we go on, our online participants are complaining. They cannot hear anything. The technical team, can you resolve the problem? We have online, very important participant online. They are getting worried and they've threatened to drop. So can we rectify the problem, please? So that they can participate. I'm sure they even have questions for us, but because they cannot hear us, they cannot ask questions. Thank you. So any more comments?
Thank you so much. Service. I have a couple of questions. One, whether the aspect of revising the curriculum is under HR team or you, and secondly, because that came out in the general presentation, that one of the things we need to do before training is to have the curriculum ready. Secondly, there was also a mention of revising the service package. From what I see with you, you go straight to printing. At what point do we convene a team of experts or stakeholders to review the existing package and incorporate what we feel is missing before we actually deliver services and before we train CHWs? Those are my two comments. Thank you.
Yuda has just laid his hand that he want to clarify some of the comments.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make some clarification of on one of the concern about the training, especially printing of these training documents, curriculum and the other supporting documents. In our context, in Tanzania mainland, like now we have more than 221 training institutions. These are the health training institutions that are offering the middle level cadres, training for the middle level cadres. And these are the health training institutions that are targeted to conduct the training for the CHWs. Leave alone the other possible training institutions that may be, of course, taken into account as times goes. So this means that we had to design the training in a formal and standardized way. We even developed the training guide, how to manage the guide that explains clearly how to manage this training. Therefore, there is no room or opportunity for a certain institution to give an option of whether they have to give a printout document to these trainees or soft copy. No, we have no that room because of the standard. This is a standard and a formal training. It has the guideline on how to do it. So for us, the documents that has to be printed has to be there. A printout has to be there. And those documents that are, of course, has to be provided in a soft copy, then it has to be provided in a soft copy all over the country. So I just wanted to make that clarification so that we avoid, we are trying to avoid substandard during the training. Thank you so much.
Maybe before Dr. ask another question about the issue of curriculum. He has just seen training, but where is there any way of doing the kind of validation of those training curriculum? Can you explain about that also?
Okay, thank you so much. There is an opportunity for the validation. The good thing is what this group has done, of course, is also reflected in our group of HR, where actually the development and the revision of this curriculum and the validation is also taken into account. So as of now, because we are about to start training, this training and the other training documents are already developed, by the way. So we are taking the first batch, of course, for the period of 6 months. We are also taking it as a pre-test in a way of these tools. And therefore, we have also planned for minor revision of these training documents, all the documents. And therefore, there will be a room for, of course, accommodating the inputs from all the stakeholders. Because in the training continuum for this period of 6 months, we expect to have some, of course, to identify some gaps that need to be, of course, filled or worked out. And therefore, there is that room. So we have that flexibility. But as I said, even the revision, these minor revisions on it will be done and in a formal and a standard way. So it will not be like this. Some training institutions will be using the old one and the other one will be used the revised one. No. So when we do, we will do for all over the country.
Sante, to declare the interest, I'm the group member also.
Thank you. I think for the question on the whether there is this some of the activities fall under the training, we're also having the same discussion, but we just wanted to make sure that no activity is left out, and we also want to make sure that if there is a need for some of the activities to move to the other, it will go. But also mind you, the first year, the 6 months and the first year, it is more of a training period. It is a rollout period rather than actual service delivery. If you scroll down, there is the third priority, which is the operationalization, while the activity, the training and also the rolling out of everything, the whole package is going on. There will also be the service delivery through with the community health workers. So that we wanted to touch upon, but since we didn't have time, we left it there. However, that is also part of the first year activity. So it's just like a concurrent activity, a concurrent priority. But for now, we want to make sure that nothing is left behind. Okay.
Thank you, colleague from the group for the good job. Mine is just a minor comment emphasizing on the integration of social behavior change into CHW roles. You know, these are the custodians of SBCC or SCBC at the community level. So going back to the linkage role of CHW between the healthcare facility system and the community, I was thinking that because they will be providing basic, preventive, promotive, and curative now, so they also needed to have some skills to help us promote the utilization of our curative services at the health facilities. And so they need to have some sort of integrating social behavior change approaches in promoting the uptake or utilization of services. But also, they needed to do some sort of service communication, that is to promote the uptake or adherence to the services, maybe before, during, and even after service. You know, we have trouble with the antimicrobial resistance because there is no rational use of medicine. So I think the CHW can, apart from preventive and promotive, they can also take part for the curative, not only to provide curative, but also to promote utilization of curative services at the facility level. So I was wondering, maybe in the revision of the integrated job wage, we might not only update it with the curative package, maybe see things like this one. How are they going to get some skills, maybe some guidance, how to promote utilization of services? And maybe we have other emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases. Like when we developed this, we had things like mpox. So maybe this will be also an opportunity beyond curative, also to see other public health issues that can be integrated into the job wage. Otherwise, Thank you for the good presentation.
Asante.
So I'm not asking because I was one of group, but I wanted to respond to that one on why we were specific to curative is because I'm informed the new package of service only was updated with the curative service. Therefore, the job aids must speak to the service or package that the CHWs will be offering. So if it is not, some services or package are not defined there in the package that has already been defined, then there is no need of developing job aids outside that, because that's what essentially will be required to deliver. If builder is employed as a community health worker, this is the package of service, and then the job aids are speaking to the service or package. So maybe what we are saying, maybe in the future when the package of service is expanded to include those others, then that time may be consideration of developing job aids to speak to that. That's why we didn't go beyond. That's why we were very specific with curative services.
Thank you. My issue here is about referral form. What I know that we have 3 referral form for CHW. The one referral form is from CHW to the health facility, and the second one, the second referral form is a feedback of client to the CHW from health facility to CHW, and the third one is to transfer client from health facility to the CHW. But in group one, in a subcommittee of supply chain, they've said that we'll make a referral form for CHW. But the same to this group, you are saying that it will be a referral form for CHW. So I don't know which is which. So it's better to make a reconciliation from the group from subcommittee of supply chain and this service delivery. Thanks.
Amesema referral form ni moja tu, si ndio? Actually, that's why these things overlaps. And again, maybe the M&E team will inform us about that. Sawa sawa. No worries. Tusonge mbele.
Actually, all questions have been responded to, except Judah. Judah, if you can help me, there was a question from Madam, whether we are paying the training institutions. You didn't respond to that part.
Okay. Sorry for overlooking that question. As it is now, the learners, the CHWs, will not be paying for the training, but instead they will be provided with some kind of some funds to cater for their accommodation and the meals and transport while they are attending the training. So, and also the training or the training fees will be provided, of course, by we say the government will pay for their training, but it is not, by the way, it's the government in collaboration with the partners. So we are going to pay for them and even give them some kind of incentives for their subsistence. And therefore, there are funds that will be paid directly to the training institutions. Basically, the school fees, we say that the training fees, those funds will be paid directly to the training institution. Of course, based on the number of the CHWs enrolled. So, and even this payment will also be done in phases or in a batch, as along with the enrollment plan. And so there are some funds that will also be paid to the local government authorities, especially the nearby health facilities where these CHWs will be placed during the field work training, kind of training. While they are in the field, because we believe that they will need support, technical support from the nearby health facilities, and the training institution, of definitely, they will not manage to be in every village, in every kitongoji. It is very difficult. So the way it is designed is that the training institution will collaborate with the nearby health facilities and other, of course, potential technical people to support this. And therefore, some funds will go there to facilitate this. And the other funds are for those funds that will not be paid directly to the institutions. Is the funds that are budgeted for the equipment, the procurement of the equipment and the other required materials. Then those funds will be paid, of course, to the one to the procurement process, by the way. That will follow. So it is all the funds that are budgeted for training will go to the training institutions now. It depends the budget items. And therefore, the CHWs are not going to pay anything. And after the training, of course, we expect to deploy them directly and start giving them incentives. So during the training, they will not be given the monthly incentives. The monthly incentives will be provided after completing the training and starting providing services at the community level. I'm not sure whether I clarified it very well.
Asante, thank you. Madam. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. We have taken note of comments on including the verifying if the SBCC materials are covered in the job wage, and also promotion of the curative services, and also we'll harmonize to see which budget lines goes where so that we avoid duplication. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You are discharged. Yeah, before we go to the next presentation, it looks like we are tired in sitting down. Everybody, let's get up and do some exercise. Oh, is coffee ready? Robinson, is coffee ready? But let's do some exercise. Everybody, get up. Let's get up. We are going to play football in this room from our head to the toe. So get ready. Just find a place and join me to do it. How many of us are footballers or were footballers? Hey, all of you. Oh, that's wonderful. So we are going to place the football in some parts of our body. Then we use our body parts to play it as it comes to the part of the body. So we are starting from the head. You know how we score goals with our head, football. So I'm picking the ball and I'm throwing it at the head. So everybody, so when I say whichever part I mentioned, that's where we're playing the ball. So for now, let's start. So we are throwing the ball at our head. So let's play the ball. Head your ball. Head it. Up, up, up. You'll be trying to score a goal. So let's target the goal post. Score a goal. Go. Now let's come to our shoulder, the left shoulder. And then we'll come to the right. So the ball is at your shoulder, left. Play. Those of you who are skillful, come to the right. Then bring the ball to the left and right, left, right, left, right. Go to the chest. Let's chest. Chest. Let's score a goal. Go. Then we come to the back. Put the ball there. Go to your back. The ball is dead in there. Go, go, go. Okay, roll it to your front back. It comes back here. Then your tie. Left, 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 right, right, left, right. You know the players, they know Abedi Pele from Ghana. Let's come to the foot. Left. Go round, go round, go round. Round. Right. Right. Go round. Okay, left, right. Yeah, fast. Left, right, left. Let's square, go. Go. Okay. So this one is a good exercise for HR to give us their presentation.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Barnabas, for making the audience active, and then have every participant managed to play a ball, and we are all winners. Did we score the goal? Each of us. Okay. Our group worked on the thematic area for human resource. The thematic area on the human resource for community health. Okay, let me. Okay, I think I'm not sure if you can read from the back, especially. So we had several. We have several action or priority areas. To start with, the number one was about to revise the community health workers training curriculum, just to operationalize the basic curative care within the integrated multi-sectoral package of the community health service. Under this priority area, we proposed several activities, about 4. The one is to finalize and sign curriculum and other support documents. Yes, as of course we have just discussed it, that it is ready, but we also consider the issue of revision. As I said, after 6 months, we expect to do a minor review based on the identified gaps. But again, another activity is to conduct orientation to facilitators, because after the revision, then we need to orient the users of those documents, and of course on any changes that we have made, so that the training will still be provided in a standard and a formal way. We have also under each activity we have also indicated an estimated cost or budget, of course based on of other available documents, because the similar activities are also in our plans. So number 3 is about distribution. Whatever that we develop and revise, we need to distribute it. And here, because our colleagues have already covered the part of the printing, we said, okay, now we will distribute whatever that we print. And normally we print these copies in Dar es Salaam, so we thought there will be a cost of transporting these materials or the documents to the training institutions all over the country. So we have just proposed a certain estimated budget for that. And again, the activity 4 is to conduct minor reviews of the curriculum and other support documents. This is an continuous, because it is a period of 5 years. We said after like 6 months, we will do minor review. But in the course of the training, maybe we expect that by after year 2 or 2.5 or 3, we may need to review again because of this imaging and reimaging kind of disease and conditions. But also, yeah, like what Peter was explaining to us, for this now is not a, maybe it's not taken comprehensively. By then, there may be a need to comprehensively take or update the content of the training. That is area 1. And as you can see in each activity, sub-activity proposed here, there is a certain amount of money allocated. Of course, proposed. This in the currency is the US dollar. And of course, the period, the X means the period, proposed period for the implementation of these activities. And as it was actually directed that the activities that we costed are those ones that we expect to be done in 6 months to 1 year period. Other activities we did not cost because are the activities that will be done after a year. Another, the activity 2 or priority area 2 is selection and deployment. This is one of the activities that we of course we added because it is an urgent. By the way, it is among the first priority activities. If you have not selected CHWs, then you have nobody to train, by the way. So we have to start with the selection and of 2 CHWs in each Kitongoji room cha. I think we understand to reach that number of 137,294 in total. So under this one, there is an sub-activities here to conduct orientation and advocacy meetings to regional councils, ward and village mtaa level. The advocacy meetings are done at regional and council level. Of course, it is because it is a multi-sectoral kind of participants. Participants come from multi-sectoral. But the orientation is specifically done to those who are involved in the selection and in the selection process. The CHMTs, the VEOs, and ward executive officers. Those who will directly be involved. And again, after the orientation, we conduct the community-led selection. So after the orientation, then the communities are mobilized and they select the community health workers they want. Of course, based on the displayed criteria, established criteria, and it is standard. So some of the minor activities we did not put it because it is like a procedural activities that has to be done. Like in the identification or community-led selection, there are several activities that are part of this, by the way. It is a process. So we thought that it is not necessary to include this, but in the budget we included. So another activity is to train CHWs under the approved training curriculum and scale up the number of CHWs. Under these activities, of course, like in any other activities, we have indicated the period where this activity will be done and the proposed budget. So here, there is an activity that oh, sorry, what happened? Anyway, under the training priority area, the sub-activities includes development of the training or enrollment plan, because the training will be done, and this, as I said, in a number of health training institutions currently, but the training itself will be done in batches, and as I said, every after 3 months, we are expecting to enroll a new batch of learners to the training institution. So it at times there will be CHWs who are in the field practice. Their last 3 months of their training in the field, but the new ones will be enrolled to the training institution. So thank you, guy. You made it. Now I think it's possible. You can see. So the development of the training enrollment plan, we did not cost this one because it is an activity that can be done in an office and somebody can sit and do it. So we thought that it is not necessary to cost it. And therefore, of course, there is time, but time, we cannot put budget for the time. Another sub-activity is to conduct 6 months training. This is the actual training, by the way. That will be done in phases. And this is the amount that is proposed. Of course, not proposed. We calculated based on the amount set to train one CHW. So we calculated using the 28,000 target of CHWs. So this budget, it is for 1 year, not for the whole period of 5 years. Because this is what we will do in year one. Another is development of e-learning platform for continuous learning. This we did not cost because this is an activity that could be done even after a year. So the fourth one is to conduct on-the-job training, coaching, and mentorship for deployed CHWs. This one, we costed it because we expect that after 6 months, there will be CHWs who are trained and deployed. Then we have another 6 months of their service. Then during the service, they may need some kind of coaching, some kind of supervision. Definitely, we would need that one. Just to make sure that if there are any gaps, training gaps, then we make sure we identify and work on it and fill to ensure the community receives a good and quality care. Another activity, the priority area we added is to equip deployed CHWs. This is an important and very key, because once they complete their training, they need to be given equipment so for them to work as expected. So that is the amount, and the amount was calculated based on the number of the year one, 28,000. And also the activity 5, you can see, to incentivize this deployed, of course, on monthly basis. And here we only calculated against the 12 months. So it is 1 year incentives for the 28,000 CHWs. So another one is develop a transition plan to facilitate absorption of existing CHWs that have been trained using other curriculums. And under this activity on the transition plan, sub-activities will be to conduct mapping of all existing CHWs countrywide using the digital system. We are going digital, and this sum amount is set for those who will be, of course, for the process, who will be involved in the mapping exercise, and of course the related cost, because they need to move from one place to another one. And again, to develop master list of all existing and the newly trained CHWs. This also we did not cost for now, because we think that can also be done in an office. But if we think that we will need, and the kind of support here we need is more technical. So this could also be done without, not necessarily with funds. And then to conduct stakeholders engagement meeting to discuss the transition plan. This one needs some funds, because you need to have a meeting with all the stakeholders just to discuss on the transition plan and get their insights and propose the way that this plan will be. But another activity is to conduct writing workshops for this, of course, to produce now this transition plan in place. And there are some, the amount that you can see, guys, is a very minimum. And we roughly, of course, used the experience of the similar activities. The time is too short to really cost each item under this sub-activity. So it is an estimation based on, of course, we use our experience and the logic that this could be done using this amount of funds. So another activity is to conduct a validation of the developed transition plan, and again finalize and assigning the transition plan, disseminate it, and then roll out to countrywide. Another activity is about developing a national policy for harmonized remuneration, financial and non-financial of CCW that clearly articulates flow of funds and payment modality. So here, we propose the issue of integrating the CHW's incentive payment with DHFF system. This is the currently the existing CHF. Yes, this activity, of course, may not be done in a 6-month period, but it needs to be completed in a year, because after 6 months there will be some of the CHWs deployed. So this system needs to be done. So we need also to advocate for local-based financial or non-financial incentives. We did not cost this one because this could also be done even after a year, and not necessary that we cost it now. Develop and the integration of CHW career progression path. Yes, also this one we did not cost because it is an activity that also can be done with other activities, along with other proposed activities. During the stakeholders meeting, we could also discuss about this one. And also the established career pathways opportunities for CHWs as well. This also it's not necessary to do it in this period of 6 months. So it is something that can be done along with other activities. Performance management of community health workers. This is the last key area or priority area. And this, we have several activities. One is to develop CHW performance appraisal tool or system. And we have data amount. These activities under this priority area will be done in year 1. Yes, not necessarily within the first 6 months, because they will be in the training institution. So we will develop, of course, by the time they are completing their training, we need to have this plan in place so that when they start serving or providing services, we have something to measure or control their performance, and orient CHWs and their supervisors on this performance appraisal system so that they will all be aware and yes, actually conduct the actual appraisal, and then review CHW supportive supervision tools, because they will be doing some kind of supervision, but again, to conduct a regular supportive supervision to CHWs. And as I said, these are the proposed key priority activities. Of course, they in general, there's some a kind of a support that is needed here is financial, really financial and technical, because this kind, by its nature, these activities needs engagement of all the stakeholders, and the sources, as of course the government is there by default, but development partners and implementing partners and even CSOs are the one that are expected to provide some kind of a support, by the way. And there are some, of course, in some activities we have tried to put some notes why we really need and how are we going to conduct it. So that is it. Thank you so much, moderator. I submit.
HR, thank you. Thank you very much. I was going to be biased. I wanted us to clap for them, but because from the beginning we didn't clap for anybody. So I don't know what to say. But let's clap for them. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I also have an HR background. I work as an HR manager before. Yeah, so let's see if there are any comments. But I think from my side, I see some dichotomy between your equipment and that of supply chain, because I don't know the relationship, whether what you are thinking about, what supply chain came to present, is it the same thing? So we need to communicate and see how to reconcile. And then about the transition plan, I think I heard you have an operational guideline, right? Do you have it? For the you are now revising it to align to the new thinking. Okay, so it means that what I'm thinking is that it shouldn't be independent of the operational guidelines. So the transition plan could be incorporated into the operational guidelines. So you have a portion of transition plan in the guidelines, which describe what exactly you want to see in the transition of the program or for career progression for the community health workers. I don't think it should be an independent transition plan. It should be integrated and incorporated into the operational guidelines. So that's my suggestion. Any comments from the floor?
Thanks to the team. I think we were clapping all along for the other groups too, but it was good to get it out for this team all at once. So great prioritization. I think very comprehensive. I just wanted to discuss a bit about the career pathway, and I think this is a great area to continue the reflection and to say that building upon the current work streams you have, like for example, the community health worker registry that's in process, perhaps there's a way to build in a certain accreditation for the training that will go forward so that this is documented in their records and can be tracked so that you know the level and coverage of the training that's being continued. I'm just trying to brainstorm of what I've seen in other countries in terms of accreditation, tracking this training in the system, and I think the master list registry that's in process could be that opportunity. My second comment is just to say that there's a lot of experience in the region when it comes to the e-learning. You've got a good neighbor in Rwanda that has some excellent modules they've done for their community health worker program. And we'd be happy to link you with them to see if there's no need to reinvent the wheel and what we can learn from them going forward. But thanks, an excellent presentation.
Dr. Ono is trying to lecture me here, so the lecture session will go on. Thank you. I think this group has really, in terms of our accelerated plan, we can visualize pretty much the first 4 activities qualify realistically. I think that's a question I've been trying to answer Dr. Unu. If you're given a year from now and a few people from this group come back and want to see where we are with the training, where do we start from? And if you've mapped maybe say 10 regions, do you see yourself of the 53 say training institutions, each one training every 3 months, meaning in a year, realistically you can do maybe 3, assuming. So do you have like an actual quantification of the first batch times 4 in a year that you're going to be doing, so that if you're looking for any initial investment from either USAID or other partners, you can quantify what you need? I still struggle to visualize your starting point and the numbers, you know. And the second question is on those that will subsequently be done with the training. You're talking about ongoing mentorship. I believe it requires a workforce. I've not seen any activity that you mention preparing either supervisors or district deployment teams that will be receiving the lot that has trained and deploying them in facilities. Plus, we would like to see the salary. I believe in a year, unless you say that when we train people in 3 months, the subsequent 9 months, they are going to work without a salary, or they are not going to work at all. So I think there are a number of a few areas that we need to clarify. What do we do for the workforce that we've trained and deployed in the 10 regions?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the questions, reactions. That indicates that you are really following up the presentation. So, and of course, the comments that you have provided, all of you, on behalf of my group, I take it. I take all these comments, and thank you so much. And I will be waiting for, of course, to be connected with that organization so that we learn from each other and see how best we can also benefit from that. And of course, I'm aware of the other organizations, even here, including Benjamin Mkapa Foundation and the AMREF. They have also such kind of an e-learning, blended kind of learning of approaches for this CHW. So we can still review and whatever systems that are available and have one that is standard. So concerning the transition plan, of course, yeah, I think my colleagues, you have also noted it. The good thing is the writers who are reviewing the operational guidelines, some of them are here. And of course, you have heard the comments from Barnabas, Dr. Barnabas. Thank you so much. We will see how best we can. Of course, it is, it's accommodated, but it's just part of it. The operational guideline just indicated there will be this transition plan that will indicate this and this and this. But the plan itself is not there and it is not developed. So maybe we will see whether we will put it as an attachment or it will be developed later and attached it, because we also want that operational guideline to be out soon. So thank you for that. And another issue was, yes, the issue of equipment. As you said, we will, of course, we will communicate with our group members, the other members that are working with the supplies, and see whether we are planning on the same equipments or not. We will see and and make it clear. Okay. Yes. Another is much more of the, of course, the tracking system for the training and even the services. This is good. I think the ICT team, you have also taken this, how best we can track the training through the digital system, if possible. We all think about that and see how we can do that. And yes, about the 53 health training institutions, of course, you have asked a very challenging question. How? We are thinking of 28,000 CHWs to be reached in year one. And of course, some months have already gone. We have not yet, of course, started training. Yes, as I said, of course, even yesterday and today, the accelerator, the main factor that will really accelerate this, it is about funds. Because it's funds. Because we have more than 53 training institutions that are ready. The 53 training institutions we are talking about are those training institutions within the priority 20 councils. In this country, we have more than 221 training institutions that are ready and waiting for us to send the CHWs. So once we have funds and we do this selection, we roll out this selection process in all the regions, we can start training in all these 221 health training institutions. But of course, it is not realistic that the funds will be available within these 6 months. It is obvious. But we don't want to confine ourselves and at this stage say, oh, we will not be able to make this. No, because this is the target we set together, of course, with the partners. And let's see, because as you heard yesterday from the USAID, PASCO saying they are sitting with PEPFAR and say how best they can support this. So we remain to the target because PASCO can come and say, I will support 15,000. Then out of 28, how many are left? And someone else like the World Bank say, we will support 5,000. We are already in 20. Now we already have a support from Global Fund and others for like 9,000. Now then we are done. So I think at this stage we should not give up. Give up. Let's focus and work on it, and we will review it, of course, at mid-time, and maybe sometimes later we will sit together and review it. So that is why even our acceleration plan aligned with other existing documents concerning this, the target and the training. So that is it. And the preparation of the supervisors, the amount of the budget that we put for this supervision also includes the preparation for them, because we thought this is like, these are the people who are working on ground. So, and they have been engaged during the training. You remember I said during the 3 months field training, these guys will be attached with the nearby health facilities, and these are their supervisors as well. So the expectation is that they are aware of this and what they do. So we will just orient them like 1 day orientation on the tool and the process of supervision. Then the activities start. So that's why I say the amount of funds that we allocated here is just minimum, because the budget, the way you can see, is already 400 million US dollars. So yeah, yes, then someone could say, this is not realistic if you go beyond that, perhaps. So, and even the salaries, you say the salaries, here we did not term it as salaries. It is here. We have also included it. Somewhere we said incentive. This is actually what you are talking about, the salary. So it is about 43, almost 43 US dollars per month by each CHW that will be given after completing the training and the start working. So this, and the amount that you can see the budget there is for only 12 months for the same number of 28 CHWs. So yeah, you can see it is there, the formula. So that is it. And I think those are the key issues. There is still one hand. Santi-san.
Yesterday we talked about drafting payment guidelines. I don't know if this is something that you have already done, because I think you have the the line ministry in charge of local governments, you have treasury to deal with. I want to believe that payment of these people be respectively done through their subnational administrative structures. How do you foresee if government woke up and say, well, I've committed some money, unless we see salary coming only from partners, but even partners would love to see a payment mechanism. Otherwise, you're going to have the current practice in a number of countries. You have Pathfinder paying in this region. You have, Maristops. You have. So how do we have a harmonized payment system? Because yesterday we talked about certain things, and I think Zanzibar seems to be ahead. When you talk about contracting telecommunication companies, issuing SIM cards to these trainees before deployment, that's one end at the receiving end. But at the issuing end, if money came in today to pay the salaries, how is that going to be wired? Which processes are they going to go through before it comes to before it is given to the CHW? So I'm looking at the definition of the process and supporting documentation.
Okay. Thank you so much for the additional question. I am convinced to engage Dr. May from Purals because you talked about the local government. You said, what if the local government says this and this? So because we have the representative from the data authority, maybe he can talk, but let me not preempt him. You are welcome, Dr. May.
Thank you, Yuda. I also don't have a clear answer because what I understand, that thing is still under discussion, and the government have not concluded which mechanism we are going to use to pay these CHWs down there. So that's what I can say for now.
Yeah, so that is it. One of the key issues that are currently under discussion is that one. And of course, we have this one, the DHFF in place, and it is there in the local government. By the it is the existing structure, okay? And it is the structure that is also mentioned in our operational guideline. But now we are thinking of making it more digital than paper-based. So that's why we are still discussing the same system could be used, but in a digital way, so to fast track, because we will have that big number of CHWs that need to be paid monthly. So that is another hard work. So if you do not have digital system that can simplify this process, you may be sometimes you may be paying someone after the period of 1 month and something like that. So, and it will be a mess. So that's why we are still discussing, of course, with our partners as well. There are people who are still working on this part, supporting the government to see the best digital way to pay. Of course, but still aligning with DHFF system. Asante sana. Moderator, back to you.
Okay. If there are no more questions, comments, we discharge you and call on ICT and MNE to take the floor. ICT, are you ready? So please, as we discuss and identify the common areas of overlap, let's begin to confer with each other to reconcile, so that before we leave here, we should have a common understanding of what should be where, so that we don't have a confusion with regards to the details. We wish that by close of day we can consolidate all the documents. So IT, ICT, and MAU help us do this work, the consolidation. So when you finish, you go and do that job for us. You pick the pieces and then see how you can merge them into one document. You can do it.
Yeah, it's
no
fine.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening, all. Okay, this is group number 6, priority area information system. This is our area, and we have 5 priority area. And the first one, as you can see, so it's promote the development and the use of integrated and robust electronic community health management information systems, interoperable with the routine health management information systems. And this one, it has about 10 activities to accomplish this one. It has and 1.1 up to 1.10. So to have achieved this activity. So the first one is system requirements. So, and for the 3 systems for system delivery, for payment, and the last one, human resource. And also requirement documentation, and also validation of SCRIs with initial design and system mockups. They also have development coding the systems. So this is the area we are developing the system. Those 3 systems, HRHS, so HRHS for human resource, and also service delivery. And all these systems are going to integrate in UCS, unified community system. We're going to integrate these systems in unified community system, UCS. And of course, this one done within 6 months, as you can see the color over there. Expect to accomplish these activities within the 6 months. And also another activity is acceptance training, also system refinement and deployment to live environment. Also, after that, we're going to have training for TOT for these systems. We're going to have select some few persons who will be TOT. And also training tutors from selected colleges, training HWs. So we thought about training tutors. So going to train these tutors where these HWs they're in college. Because we thought that when they leave from the college, it will be more expensive to follow them in the street. So we plan to train the tutors, then tutors will train these CWs while in the college. That's our plan. So we are running with the time, make sure the system will be in place in time so that these CWs can be trained while in college. So at first we have those 53 colleges, as I've seen before. By starting, we have 53 colleges, and we're going to train tutors from each college. So this will be done within 6 months. And also we are made an assumption that the remaining regions, 16 regions, because we're starting with the 10 regions, by starting then and the remaining 16 region, maybe we're going to have another colleges, about 90, 90 colleges will be trained. And this one can be done even within, maybe 2 to 3 years. So it's depending on the progress of this initiative project. So, but at first we have those 53 colleges to train us. We're also going to train regional and council health professional coordinators on the system implementation systems. We're going to train also our coordinators on how to access the system and use the system at the level of council and the region. These health professional coordinators. And also this one done within 1 year, expecting to do it within 1 year. We also have state users at national level and our IPs on access and using the system as well. Can see capacity users at national level implementation of the systems, use of health for RAG and IPs. And also we have technical training for the systems, we thought about training from each council shall have one ICT person who will be aware of the system. So in case for any challenges, can be able to assist the council. So this is technical training. So this is okay, and also okay. So this is at the end of this is the end of the first priority area for promoting and first area promotion and the use of the systems, which cost about 1.6 billion. And you can see these activities are almost within 1 year, others within 6 months, and the others within 1 year. But few can go more than a year. So this is the activities for the first area. The and second area, develop and use national georeferenced community health workers master list hosted within the existing health workers registry for identification, deployment, and performance management. So this activity already covered in the previous group from UDA. So human resource, you have seen mapping exercise, also identification of these HWs. So this one we didn't have any cost, though we thought this activity also can be embedded in the HRHS system. Also capacity building for implementing the master list aligned with the global guidance. Also this one we've thought that we're going to integrate it while we have a training to these users. The activity it was develop national community health M&A framework, establish and monitor progress of community health benchmark linked to national target in the community health M&A framework. Was this one, it has two activities, technical review. One is a technical review meeting for M&A framework, community health framework, and the last one stakeholders meeting for review, validation, and finalize M&A community health framework. So, and this one, because we're already having a draft in this area, so we're going to have another one meeting for technical review, this M&A framework, and also the last one we should have just a stakeholders meeting for validation and completing this. It's actually cost about 91 million. Also, we have another activity, establish and operationalize implementation research agenda to inform continuous learning and strategic decision making in community health. So, of course, we discussed with my colleague in the groups about this issue of research agenda. And at first, this one was placed in the coordination team at first. Because we have subcommittees, but the first subcommittee of coordination is the one which was dealing with this area of interest. But discussing with the people from that area, they said that should be remain to this subcommittee. So as a group, we thought that we should start with the identifying areas of research and the learning from all subcommittees. Subcommittee number 6, we thought about the digitization of payment mechanisms of the CCHW. So this is the area of our interest in this area. We thought about having digitization of payment mechanism for CCHWs to have research in these areas. So this area of research agenda, for sure, we need your inputs, contribution in this area so that we can proceed. As you can see, up to now, CCHWs are going to those colleges next month, next month, but nothing has been done so far in terms of research. So I think this meeting is area where we can discuss how to go about it in this area of research. Thank you. So that's all about the information system and those priority areas. Asante.
Thank you much. Very short. Can you go up a bit? Yeah, so okay. All right. Any comments, any contribution, any clarification?
Thank you very much, presenter. Uh, a little bit, maybe we should agree as a big group here, because issues of like issues is a mifumo. See them appearing from 2 to 3 groups. Maybe if this group can assist us, I remember in our group, we had to consult a member of this group so that he can guide us properly, because we were thinking of developing a portal. And we had a big discussion, see if a portal is enough for the, because we thought we should develop a portal for the CHTF, but we went on maybe deciding to have community health workers program web page that will be embedded within the UCS that can assist to display information to the community and reserve as information for the technical team for the managerial issues. And also I see from another group I was consulted also and provided expertise from group of commodities. Is it service group? The service group also had an issue in relation to referral system and in identifying whether they should use the digitalized system, which is actually a web-based system, or we should continue with the hard copy mechanism of referring clients or patients from community to facility. So I was also expecting to see a referral mechanism, because this is the MNE and is the one that should guide us on how we can manage the referral and the reporting and the data recording issues like that. So I am looking to see the important angles from this group where I was expecting to see those referrals. Maybe also I should be guided there. So it's an issue of referral and the issue of dealing with digital system and maybe consolidating them all from other groups. But also, from the presentation dialect, from the priority number 4, I suggest maybe you should add a research agenda as a deliverable, as an issue that can guide, because as I can see from your presentation, you have just said, you have just mentioned that to identify research areas. So identification of research areas and then remaining with them with the identification only without documenting them and provide maybe a guide of a written document of those research agenda, it cannot even assist, and I see that it cannot work because people will have nowhere to refer or to read those identified areas. Maybe you can add also to develop and share that research agenda that will be of priority within either 5 or 3 years. But also on priority number 3, I think the framework issue, I also see a technical issue and the stakeholders meeting to review. If possible, maybe we can add, because that framework we need it so that we can refer to it in terms of M&E issues, in terms of M&E indicators. If you can maybe finalize it, print and disseminate. So I don't know if it's in this group or in another group, because to print and disseminate it can also assist to guide individuals when we are referring on implementation. Again, on your priority number 1, specific activity 1, 2, and 3. I see them like this activity are very similar to one another, and they are all resembling with the issue of requirement establishment. Because number 1 is all about requirement system. I even confused the system requirement specific. Number 2, requirement documentation. I don't know in the documentation, and in number 1, what are the different issues that will be will be doing, and the number 3, validation. Okay, if maybe if we need be to remain in those in a separated way as they appear there, fine. But if possible, we can merge them and have one as a requirement establishment and documentation. Again, you have the development phase, and again you have tried to split the training to small entity. I don't know if possible, maybe we can merge and have them like sub in the big training activities within this group. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, maybe you can respond because you're asking a lot of questions. So it's better to respond them then before we go to another.
Okay, I can start responding as a member of the group, and my colleagues will respond on the issue of the system requirement and requirement documentation. To start with the development of a portal web-based, we've actually discussed and we've listened to the other groups that there is a need of having a number of systems on a different aspect, but we've been discussing that we need to have an integrated platform whereby everything can be coordinated in the existing platforms. For example, there is a group talking about having a system of a procurement system, but we have the system currently in the government machinery, which governing the procurement system. So it's just a chance to do some sort of an integration and avoiding having many systems working parallel. That's why even you can see in the first activity that we want actually to have UCS, HRHSS, FAS, NAMUS being operated in the same platform. So that's one. But secondly, on the referral system, we have currently the UCS, which is actually being operationalized in the community, and it's provide a good referral mechanism platform, and it has been used. We have the Waja app and the Kituoni app, whereby the Waja app can be used by the community health workers and can communicate with the healthcare provider on the referral initiated through the Kituoni app, and it has been used. So we want to see how best we can integrate, as I've said, to avoid having many systems on the ground. On the issue of the research and learning agenda, we discussed here, but looking on the community health roadmap, the research and learning agenda was being put in the coordination component. It was under the coordination. This is typically focused on a health information system. So for us, we discussed on the research and learning agenda. First, we said we need to do a consultative to each of the group so that they can identify what are their key learning issues that they want to document as far as concerning the leadership and governance, the health service delivery, whatever. We want to document first the key research and learning agendas that needs to be studied, because you cannot learn everything. You need to just map what are the key and to document. And for us, in the past meeting that it has been done, Dr. Ntuli was very much interested on if we can learn on this kind of the new payment modality that we want to initiate. So we put that one as one of the research agenda, and the good thing that we have already a background from the Mkapa Foundation. Mkapa Foundation did it, and I think they do some sort of documentation, right, Zawadi? So they can give us an highlight, but we want also to actually, that is one, the digitalization of payment mechanism for community health workers is one of the research and learning agenda which we identify, but we want to map from the previous groups if they have anything which they thought could be relevant for the for research and learning agenda, so that we can start from there and working forward. But also these research and learning agendas, this component will be part of the M&E framework that is going to be developed. The M&E framework will have a section on the research and learning agenda, so we'll put much details on the M&E framework concerning the research and learning agenda. My colleague, please welcome for the clarification on the system requirement and whatever. Karibu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dale, for a very good clarification. The first critical activities in system development is system requirement gathering. And as you can see, the first activity there is system requirement specification. And with the human-centered approach of system development, this is the very critical system activity that we need to work with as a first activity. And listening to all the groups, we have been hearing wishes and needs from individuals, that this is why we want a system that will be working like this. And through this system requirement specification, then this where as technical specialists, we'll be able to collect all the needs from all the individuals. And why we have divided into three. One is because all the business owners or program specialists will be invited for the first activities, where we'll be collecting for 10 days. We'll be collecting requirements from different program and as department and stakeholders. And activity number 2 is for the ICT colleagues now to sit and document the requirement, because we have a specific framework, a specific template that we need to use to create a SRI's document. And then after that activities, the third activity is validation. Now we'll invite back all the program specialists to come and validate what we have collected, what we have documented as a digital specialists. And then after validation is where now we would go to the next step of a design of our systems. And we have divided these 3 systems. We have UCS, HRHIS, and FALS. UCS is a safe delivery system whereby all the safe deliveries, all the components of data collection through the community health workers will be done through UCS. And within UCS, we have 3 components. We have a Kituon app, we have a Waja app, and the other part is the portal. So within the Waja app is where the community health workers will be accessing all the thematic area that will be used by the community health workers. But the Kituon app is like an app through the health facilities level, whereby all the referrals will be coming from the community to the facility level. Mind you that within the facility level, we have a centralized GOTOMIS, which is working as well as EMRs. So we'll be, the discussion will be started already to accommodate or to integrate between UCS and centralized GOTOMIS, whereby all the referrals will be coming from the community to the facility level, and the healthcare workers will be now accommodating all the referrals from the community through the digital means. And from the community part, or from the facility part, when we are saying the dashboard, we might use the UCS dashboard as a customized dashboard within the UCS, but the means is to integrate the DHIS2, whereby all the levels will be able to access the data from all the levels, from the community facility and the higher levels. And regarding the portal, that is, we are speaking on the, I think it was a governance team. So the means of a portal, we could have within the UCS, we'll be having a classified a system whereby we'll be using credentials to access the system. But within the public portal, we can create within UCS to allow the community health task force to have access of their minutes, even the dissemination of guidelines, including the SBCs that they wanted, HPS, they wanted to at least have a type of SBCs within the UCS platform. So I urge to all the participants, if you be invited on first activities, please come with all the requirements and needs, so they can at least have a comprehensive wishes, and then we sit as a team to, as a technical specialist, to have a documentation of that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, research team. I have a couple of comments that may require you to probably share with the rest of the team. I believe that research we should be the consumers primarily of research data, right? And that there is an evolution of your program. When I hear Dr. Ono and other folks, your eyes are centered on selecting your CHWs from the 10 regions. That's ground for research. That's ground for research, because in a number of countries, you go and you find the proportion of CHWs is 12 to 90 something. You have women way fewer than men, and they will tell you, oh, during the selection criteria, we found in these regions the qualification of women was very low, so we chose to get men. Yet that wasn't the intention. So I think, as while you're very ambitious with the overall learning agenda, let us behave as if, when you're grazing animals, there are certain behaviors you adopt alongside the animals. So if our community health program is in motion, like animals moving along the way, as it matures, we develop a research. So my view, first research agenda will be on selection, because it will benefit these people who are selecting. You learn some lessons and adopt your selection criteria based on need. And the second level is actual training. I've been telling doctor here that I've been in a few countries. They have a very beautiful curriculum. They have money. They get CHWs in training institutions, and they find that they have no training evaluation form. And you leave it in the hands of a trainer, but those trainers, they come to train because they know there's a wage every day they train, isn't it? Now, let me tell you what's so interesting. The first area where we lose quality of the work of CHWs is training. Because when trainers come, we have no robust evaluation system that helps us to uphold the standards of the training package as we designed it. One way, absenteeism of trainers, because nobody is supervising them. Secondly, is behavior trainees, CHWs. In those 3 months, you should know that you're running a boarding school of matures. It's a boarding secondary school of mature people with all their values. So my view is that we should move away the evaluation of the training from the trainers to you, the research team. Reason, once you keep it in the hands of the trainer, chances are that they might hide some information from you that is administrative in nature. So your research team and learning must be integrated with the training team. For example, how is the welfare of the trainees? These are people you're going to get from their homes. Some are already parents, which I believe most of them are mature. Their parents, you're going to you might find that after the end of your training, you're going to have a lot of unwanted pregnancies. It's possible, simply because your evaluation system never tracked adherence to how these people live. And some of you make a mistake. You give them money during the training. Do you know what that means? When they get some money, their purchasing power has gone high. They are going to cause inflation in the training institutions. Alcoholism is going to increase. People are going to get good things, and life begins to them. To them, life has just begun. So, evaluation has to be integrated. First of all, training institutions want your money. They will tell you, we have this number of toilets, we have these buildings, we have a kitchen. You go there on the actual training, things are not there. So your evaluation has to be at the forefront. Yes, you've done assessment. I've done assessment for the rest of the last 10 years because they are targeting your money. So what I'm saying, if you did assessment 2 to 3 years ago, you've got to go back and confirm that actually the findings you had are still there. That's part of your evaluation. Number two, the 3 months course requires rigorous evaluation, adherence to the curriculum, performance of the tutors, the welfare of the students, because the first lot can help you inform the second lot. There are certain things you're going to do differently. You understand? So my view is, don't think very, very big initially. First, move alongside these people. Move with them. Make sure every institution has someone keeping an eye, administering a questionnaire. And lastly, at the end of every 3 months, when the first lot has gotten out, you should have a comprehensive course evaluation course that you administer to every student Because imagine all of them, if you've trained, say, 1,000, you're getting feedback from 1,000 people. That is good. You evaluate the curriculum, evaluate the delivery, the institutions, the welfare, and then before this new lot comes in, there are few administrative changes you're going to do. Then you keep eyes on those that have gone to the community. They now face a different challenge. The other time they have been under the supervision of a tutor. This time, the tutor is not there. You have no idea if your supervisors are going to be active. And that's what frustrates a few trainees, and they feel like, you know what, this will not work. So your evaluation has to also follow. I think we used to call them tracer studies. You follow students who have been deployed somewhere to simply be supportive and facilitative, and then be able to come and inform the designers of the course. So I would see 3 critical areas for your evaluation and learning. 1, the institutions before deployment. 2, during the training. 3, after the training. And 4, when they have been deployed. And when you get that information, the coordination team and governance team, we discussed yesterday that bring that learning into your national coordination. Sometimes you write very good reports, you give them to the ministry. You have to channel your learning, because they are the people who are bringing the money, they are the implementers. Make sure you share that information in real time too, because they're involved in decision making at the end of the day.
Okay, so do you have any response? Yeah, so you are discharged. We have 2 more presentations, and we have already hit the hour 17 hours now. So let's agree on something. What do? We have 2 more presentations. We are not done yet. Any suggestions? We are in a democratic world, so I want us to take a decision by consensus. Do we continue? Meanwhile, our snack is still there. I don't know whether we should break for snack, come back, or we take the 2 presentations and then we. What do you want me to say? You have any suggestion? We should take the presentations. Are we ready for that?
I don't know. But long time when the son was very young, you can see people actually getting out of their homes and trying to warm themselves. And if you see people are quiet, that means you cannot force actually a cow to drink your water. So what I see from the room, I'm not speaking on their behalf, I'm speaking on myself. Mr. Chair, I think good is not enough, and the best is not yet to come. Why can't we actually call today a day and to have a fresh mind tomorrow? Otherwise, people, they might say, yes, as you can see, even the number of questions declines. Much as we had the football exercise, I don't know what other exercise can you give us. So my suggestion is, if you don't mind, and we can agree here that tomorrow early in the morning we come, and we have to be very serious because tomorrow is a half day. Okay, we have to come earlier tomorrow, and we do the 2 presentation. Very with energy, with a very good energy, because we need people's energy to have very effective and commitment from the presentations. Otherwise, if it will be just presentation and these people are going without getting contribution from the participants, I don't think we'll be doing justice to ourselves. I beg to submit.
All right. Thank you very much for your submission, Dr. Ona. Any guidance from you?
think that's a valid suggestion, and because after here, the evaluation team and the secretariat team, we have to sit, and even though the last two presentations are not made, we have to at least have a look on them and what is has been prepared. So I accept. And we'll have to sit and readjust the timetable tomorrow. There are some protocols and political aspects we set, so we'll look how we could manage the morning time. But I may request, please, because tomorrow is the last day, let's start at 8:30 sharp. Can you promise me to be here at 8:30? 8:30. Yes, 8:30. So 8 to 8:30 is the time we'll be settling, and then we'll start 8:30 sharp. If that's okay.
Yeah, so I think the decision has been taken. We are leaving and coming back tomorrow by 8. We should all be here 8:30. We are starting. You know, tomorrow is the closing ceremony, and we are not done yet with all our work. So tomorrow morning we'll do the 2 presentations. We'll have to do the consolidation. So I want to request the M&E team. This one we are giving you. That's part of your terms of reference. So start getting all the presentation that we've had so far and begin to consolidate them so that by tomorrow morning we can get the other 2 and then add it. And then we will, our core team will also review what you've done and make sure that all the details are very sharp, and then we can finalize it before we close the meeting. I don't know tomorrow the arrangement for closing. Who's coming? Okay. All right. So other than that, I want to thank all of you for your commitment and dedication for this session. I think it's been very fruitful, and I believe tomorrow we'll end the game in success. So have a good evening, and please go and enjoy your snacks. Goodbye.